Charli D'Amelio has made big leaps throughout her mental health journey. Her fans have watched the now 18-year-old grow up ever since a video of her dancing on TikTok had went viral in July of 2019. And by November of 2020, Charli was announced as the most popular TikToker in the world. She had also set a huge milestone after having hit 100 million followers. But with Charli's social media stardom came critics, you guys, and she's had to learn how to avoid negative comments about herself to safeguard her mental health throughout all these years. Well, Forbes recently decided to interview Charli D'Amelio a couple of weeks ago, you guys, and not only did they talk about her outstanding net worth, but they also talked a lot about Charli's mental health and where she's at now.
How do you feel about getting canceled?
I think each situation is so unique to its own person and itself, and I think that it's complicated, but there's really no way to be perfect all the time, and I've obviously
Now, before we dissect this entire interview, we have to talk about a lot of the comments under this video that were pointing out how strange Charli was presenting herself in this entire video. Some people were pointing out how she seemed entirely out of the loop through this entire interview, and some insinuated that her PR team has trained her really well throughout the last 2 years, since most of her answers throughout this interview seemed really staged. With some saying things like, "This girl literally had this whole speech memorized. It's so coached." Charli definitely gets coached on how to answer. She gave an insight into the questions, but never the full answer about the money or the equity she gets. She's got a good PR team who coached her and made her talk like a corporate robot. Now, let's get into this interview, you guys, because it exposed a lot. To start off, Charli was asked about her coping mechanisms to deal with all the hate she's been getting. And Charli says that she uses this strategy to actually deal with all the hate, where she tries to feel her emotions instead of brushing them off. She said she's even visited a professional in order to figure out the best way to deal with all the online hate at this point in time.
Have you developed any effective coping mechanisms to deal with the hate?
Yeah, I think for me, it took a lot of figuring out how to kind of not control my emotions, but feel my emotions and not let those negative emotions drag out over long periods of time. You can read something one day and you'll be fine, read something another day and it makes you upset, but you have to feel that and then move on. And you can't sit in that forever, because then you're just never gonna have a positive time when you're on the internet, you know? But it definitely took talking to a professional and really helping myself. Also separating a little bit of my personal life from what I put out on the internet, because they can say something about a video I posted, but I also lived a full 24 hours that day, and there was so much else going on that not everyone gets to see, and being okay with having that boundary up.
Charli was also asked about her privacy with social media, since it is her career at the end of the day, and she was asked how she managed her privacy during her prime time back in late 2020, which was the timing of the height of her career. Charli explained how she had to take a step back from all the eyes on her, because it was just too much on her, especially at such a young age. Having fans around her all the time, paparazzi. She explained how she needed her personal privacy and that her true fans would understand if she needed to take a break from them, from social media, for the sake of not only her mental health, but also her overall privacy as a human being herself.
I think for me, it was really taking that step back and removing myself a little bit during those prime times where everyone's eyes were on me, which probably in its own way held me back from probably what could have been more. But for me, I really needed to take that step back and take myself almost completely out of it for a little bit to be able to do this for longer and not burn myself out and figure out what I want out and had to stop overthinking and overanalyzing myself, because then it just opens it up for everyone else to do the same to you. And when you're more okay with yourself and you have people around you that you know truly love you, no matter how many followers you have, or no matter if you're out and someone comes up to you or if they don't, it's really those people and having those people online, those fans that if you take a 2-week break, they're still going to be there and support you because they care about you and they know that you care about them, even if you need to take time for yourself.
Something interesting that Charli was also asked was whether or not she has a strategy of what she posts online, whether she has restrictions to the certain stuff she posts, since there are millions of eyes on her every day, considering she's one of the most famous TikTokers in the world. Here's what she had to say.
Knowing that everything you do is going to be dissected by the public, has it changed your strategy for posting?
As far as my relationship with social media, I think I just don't post as much, but I feel like I post kind of some of the same stuff, but it's also a little bit difficult to figure out what is being on social media and what is growing up.
Yeah.
So it's hard to differentiate.
How do you differentiate that?
I don't know. I feel like I just have to be very in the moment, and I try not to focus on those things. I feel like staying close with the people who knew me before is very important to me, and I think that helps me keep my head on straight, as well as having my family and new friends that will be honest.
This interview was finally ended off with Charli being asked where she'd see herself in 5 years from now. And let's just say she's a cherish the moment type of girl and doesn't yet know where she sees herself in the span of 5 years per se. But she said that as long as she's happy with her friends and family, that she'll be happy about her future.
I have absolutely no idea where I want to be in 5 years or where I could see myself in 5 years, because the way I think about it is, if you asked me 5 years ago, this would not be at all where I am. And I'm really so focused on now that I'm excited for what I'm doing at this moment that I can't even imagine what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. But as long as I'm happy and I have my friends and family around me, I think I'll be good.
Anyways, guys, I definitely want to know what you guys think about all the stuff Charli opened up about in this Forbes interview. I definitely want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.